I'm Julie Saunders.
I'm Jan Wilson. Julie and I both have experience as school librarians, and we've worked together as district library leaders.
In each episode, we'll dive into our profession with interviews and meaningful content to inspire you. We're not experts,
But we're pretty close.
the ideas and opinions shared by any host, guest, or listener are their own and do not represent those of any respective school district.
Welcome to Library Exchange.
This episode is supported by our friends at Kids Discover. We are sure you remember the beautifully written and illustrated Kids Discover magazines on topics like the American Revolution, ancient Egypt, and ecology.
Now, their digital platform, Kids Discover Online, is fast becoming a favorite for K through 8 students. It offers an entire library of science and social studies content with multiple reading levels and a suite of features, making it accessible for every learner.
Ready to try it? Visit kidsdiscover.com/digital to get 60 days of trial access for your entire school. It's almost the end of February. The first 2 months of 2026 are practically in the bag.
Yeah, we've officially hit that time where the school year starts picking up some serious speed. And since things are moving fast, remember the best way to keep up with us is on social media, Library Exchange on Instagram, and library.exchange on TikTok. We would love for you to follow us to get a preview of upcoming guests and clips from interviews.
Exactly. We're all about building that community, which is fitting because our guest is no stranger to the power of collaboration. Today, we're joined by Nick Moore. Nick is in his second year as an elementary librarian, but his path is what's really interesting. He was a veteran fifth grade teacher at a STEAM school who collaborated often with his school's librarian and saw what the profession could offer. He was hooked.
Yes, that's the impact we talk about. Nick was a recipient of the 2025 Jason Reynolds Simon & Schuster Travel Grant to attend the ALA conference in Philadelphia last summer. We're excited to have your energy on the show today. Welcome to Library Exchange, Nick.
Thank you guys. I'm excited to be here and share with y'all.
So, Nick, let's start by giving a shout out to that librarian who inspired you.
Oh gosh. Okay, we have to go to my old school, my special librarian friend I still talk to. I still text and ask questions and bother. And I feel like she might ask more questions than me, but Julie Pizzola is so amazing because
Oh.
she literally showed me what a school librarian could be. I honestly
Oh.
just thought in a building there were teachers, the principals, the custodian. That's it. I did not know what a school librarian was. I mean, they were there in elementary school, but she just was there. That was it. Like, so seeing Julie do all the great things and give us resources and, hey, I'll do this with you. Oh, you want me to take over? I can do this or just collaborate on a lesson. She was honestly amazing. So thank you,
Aw.
Julie.
Yeah, so yay, Julie, but not you, Julie, the
Well,
other
yay,
Julie.
me too.
Yeah. Um, you, so Nick, to set the stage for our listeners, can you tell us about your school, the enrollment, number of staff, and the community that you serve?
Yeah, of course. We have over 800 students at my school. We have over 60 staff members. We're K through 5. We
Mhm.
have units, our autism integrated unit. We have our core classroom for, children who might need some help with behaviors and such. And then we have our special needs pre-K. So we're a really big school. That's kind of what I'm used to. And then also we're arts integration school. We're the first school in our county to get that.
That leads me to my first question. What does it mean to be an arts integration school?
So, being arts integrated, it simply means that we integrate the arts into the lessons that we teach. So, people automatically think, oh, you're just coloring, painting, drawing. No, that happens. However, we also bring in dance, we bring in theater,
Oh.
we bring in music, we bring in, drama, multimedia, digital media. Like we bring in all aspects of the arts into the lessons because it helps the students learn. It gets them up, it gets them being creative, it gets them to try to learn in a different way instead of, okay, we're going to stand at the board, we're going to write, we're going to teach the end. And I love that all of our teachers and specialists and myself included, we get to be involved in that.
I can't imagine how awesome that is, especially at the elementary school level for those kids who are drama or art. I mean, it's the foundation for everything you do.
But it's fine arts also. I'm sorry, I just want to interrupt because that's what's amazing. And what I heard you say was digital arts as well. So, really anything related to fine arts. That when you said arts integration originally, I was just thinking, like you said, drawing, painting.
Mhm.
That's it, you know?
Digital media, yeah. So, listeners, you have to see this for yourself on Nick's Instagram. He posted fifth grade 3D animal and plant cell projects in January that are a perfect example of students being content creators, not just consumers. Nick, can you tell us a little bit about that project?
Yeah, I love that you said that because going into the library, my main goal throughout my time at West Georgia, getting my master's, getting my specialist, getting my school librarian certification, I knew I wanted students to be producers, not just consumers, because we consume media all day long. It's everywhere. The kids are getting it, babies are getting it. It doesn't stop. They need to be able to understand what they see. However, they also need to be able to create and also show what they're learning. So that was the biggest thing I wanted to do. So I partnered with my tech integration specialist, Lindsay, who is so amazing. And I forced her to do all the things. And she has ideas and stuff. And she knows that I'll be like, hey, let's do this. But she's also forced me to do things too. We just thought we need to support some of the classes and give them something that they can use for their arts integration projects and also kind of help the teachers out because that's our role. We want to support the teachers. We decided to do sales, but I know the normal thing is let's build a 2D sale. Let's get crazy, let's get crafty, let's get the glue, let's get the foam ball. But we said, okay, let's take it a step further and let's use Tinkercad. In Tinkercad, you can build 3D models and it's just a really fun time for them to kind of explore and get hands on. Because if you don't let them get hands on at the beginning, they're going to do it throughout the lesson. And at the end, you're going to be like, okay, what happened? So it's a fun way for them to kind of explore, build, and they were able to make animal cells, plant cells. And we also talked about bringing in ELA concepts. We focus on metaphors. And they were looking at a video from Toy Story because who doesn't love Toy Story? And they compare each of the organelles for the standard, like the nucleus, the cytoplasm, cell wall, and such. They compared those to a toy in Toy Story in Andy's room. So that was pretty fun. And we had to make sure they knew what metaphors were and share and talk about it. And we even included the teachers and we're like, what's your favorite metaphor? And so they would give us something and we kind of add to our bank of metaphors.
Can you give me an example of how you tie that into Toy Story? Because I saw that it was about Andy's room. Can you give me an example to help an old brain?
So let's focus on the nucleus in the cell, right? We know the nucleus is the brain of the cell. It tells everybody what to do. So the kids had to look at a scene from Toy Story. We played a clip and they saw how the toys interacted, what they said, what they did. And of course, we know Woody is like the nucleus of the cell. However, students were coming up with other things. They were like, hey, I feel like this toy might be the cell. I think they were bringing up the piggy bank because he's pretty bossy. As long as you explain your thinking, you can't be right or wrong. So they
Right.
did a wonderful job of doing that and bringing up other stuff. And we did all the fifth grade classes. So everybody had different concepts that they brought up. And to hear what another class did, it was just so cool to kind of have that peer to peer collaboration as well
Mhm.
during that.
Yeah, and to be able to defend their choice. Love it. Love it.
I love how you had them explain their thinking and hitting on those critical thinking skills. But wow, how great that you brought in engineering concepts with the 3D modeling
Yeah.
and the Tinkercad, along with the metaphors with language arts. That's really incredible.
Yeah. We're waiting on our tech teacher. We're gonna see which one is the best and 3D print it. So we're excited. That's gonna be something to see what they do.
Where did they get some of this when they were looking for their information? I know that you had Toy Story as the foundation for comparing the characters, but did you use any databases with this particular project?
The first database is, of course, the teacher, because they teach the lesson. That's where that collaboration came in. But they also have the opportunity to go into our digital library and work with, oh, let me go into PebbleGo and see what's there and pull information and make sure I know what's going on. Oh, Britannica, that's a good one that we use. We love Galileo as well. So they kind of have their freedom of their choice, but we always talk about which database is probably going to be better for what you have to do.
Great. That's good to hear. And now a word from our sponsors.
Librarians. Imagine a complete learning ecosystem where digital discovery meets the power of print. Introducing the PebbleGo suite.
With PebbleGo for K through 2, PebbleGo Next for grades 3 through 5 plus, and Capstone's trusted print books and ebooks, students don't just look things up, they fall in love with learning.
Their engaging articles spark questions, build background knowledge, and support early literacy. Their books and ebooks take kids deeper with rich, topic based reading.
And the best part? It's all standards aligned, built for ELA, science, and social studies, and available in English and Spanish, giving districts real instructional impact across every classroom. Where curiosity starts and learning grows. PebbleGo. So, you also have your students engaged in a body biographies project. How about walking us through the student's experience from beginning to end?
So, in the body biography, essentially, the first thing you have to do is you have to trace the body. That's the kid's favorite part, laying on the floor on butcher paper and somebody tracing them. As an adult, we did this with our Kakam library group, and it was very uncomfortable. But you laugh, you have fun,
Aw.
but you're like, oh, that's what I look like. But the kids love that part. They get to trace themselves, and you kind of get to go about it a different way. So this time we're going to work with first and third graders.
Mhm.
So you'll see the difference in the bodies, but you kind of get to go and look at, okay, we knew the first grade, we didn't want to make it too complex. So we're focusing on the head, the heart, the feet, the background, the hands. So you look at, okay, with the head, what do they focus on? What do they think about? You know, that's where your brain is. So what's your character thinking about? And then the heart, what do they love or who do they love most? Hands, what do they help towards? Because we know
Mm,
helping hands. And then their feet, what do they stand on? In the background, you kind of make it simple. What is going around them?
mm.
That's kind of what that body biography is set up as. In third grade, we're going to take it a step further and bring in the spine, what holds them together. So that's what the body biographies look like, and they get to draw it out. You can do it on the computer. We're going to do it physically because it'll be more fun, and we want to kind of do some, that multimedia have different levels to it. So that'll be our process when we do it.
So they work in groups, right? And then they trace someone's body on the paper and then they're researching about this individual. So this could be anytime you do a biography in any subject area.
Yeah, definitely, of course. I've done it with novel studies. We focus on the main character,
Oh,
other characters in the book. We've done it with Hispanic Heritage Month, with Black History Month. And what's nice about this one is, once again, my tech integration specialist, who I throw into everything, she's bringing in the VR. So the kids are going to see Rosa Parks on the bus and what that looked
Wow.
like. And first of all, what a bus looks like, because they know the school buses, but in my area, we're in the suburbs. We don't have public transportation. It's going to be a little different to see, like, this is what a city bus looks like. And they'll actually be able to sit on the bus. So that's going to be very exciting for them.
Wow, that is so
They're going to
neat.
focus on Rosa Parks. We are going to allow them to bring in other characters throughout Black history that have made, big changes, because they might have something that we didn't think
mhm.
about. And then you could share that. That's wonderful. But they're essentially going to go through our databases. We'll go to PebbleGo. We'll go to Britannica. That'll be a big introduction for our first graders to go beyond Brain Pop. PebbleGo.
Mhm.
So that'll be really nice for them to kind of see, okay, how can I find this in Britannica? Because it's such a nice, clean, easy way to view it. And then third grade, they'll focus more in Britannica, Gale, and context, and then we'll kind of extend it and show them a little bit of Galileo.
Great.
So, Nick, you clearly put in the work to make reading part of the DNA at your school. Do y'all see how I made a reference to the earlier cell project there?
Mhm.
Anyway, how do you create a culture of reading and bring in business partners to help at your school?
Oh gosh, I love this question. I love our reading culture. I love reading. I've always been a reader. I've always gone to the public library. I remember as a kid, I would have multiple books, and my parents would be like, "Are you sure you just don't want one?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to read them all." And I would read them all. And so, what I like to do in my library and in the school is I reflect that. I have an area where they can see what has Mr. Moore read so far, and I challenge the kids, beat me in my, we use Beanstack to log our reading minutes, kind of make it fun. It's a gamified reading site where you can compete, you go through challenges, you're able to give them prizes or just use it to pull reports to see their minutes. We just got off a great teacher read off that our library association CACOMS did for the county. And we took it a step further and we went almost to the end of the next month. And I gave out prizes to our staff because that's huge. On top of their work, on top of their family, I'm logging minutes and going in. I'm being deliberate about reading because they do read, but now you're taking it a step where, okay, prove that you're reading. Go into Means Tech and log your minutes. So it was nice just to give them something and thank them because the kids were like, "Oh, you're in last place? You only have 20 minutes? Oh, you're not at the top?" And I was at the top, of course, the whole time. I mean, because I
You
just knew
kinda
I had to win,
you
but
have
I
to
did. I made
be.
sure others got prizes. I made sure they got prizes. But for me, it's just very easy. I'll call somebody and I'll be like, "Hey, tell them what's going on, what you're doing, why is it
Mhm.
important to see what they can give." Our movie theater has given tickets, our bowling alley has given tickets, our skating rink they gave us passes. They gave us a birthday pass for 9 to get in free. Our Starbucks just recently gave us for the teachers coffee, mugs, cake pops. I say
Nice.
call everybody because sometimes what I hear is, "Oh, we were wondering who to donate this to or who we could help." And I'm like, schools, always
Mhm.
schools. Like that should be number one on your list. So I say go out and ask. Do not stop. Don't feel bad.
Nick, you mentioned before we were recording about a Black-owned bookstore, and the public library is close to your school, correct?
Yes, they are literally within about 5 minutes, I'll say.
Mhm.
So it's so nice to have a bookstore, a Black-owned bookstore. It looks like our students. Our school is pretty much Black, Hispanic students. Those are our largest populations at the school. But to have a bookstore that recognizes that and supports us, it's the Bookworm Bookstore. It's in downtown Powder Springs, and we love her, Julia Davis. She will give, she will support. She does a food pantry and that's helped a lot of our families. She has her reading programs that she does for the communities. She came to our school and did a book fair once, and that was nice because I didn't have to ring anybody up. But that's so perfect that she's there. I love that she's there to extend what we're doing in the building into the community. And then our public library, that's even closer. I would say that's about 3 minutes. And they are always doing things. And Dana, she's the children's manager there. And she comes to the school, she speaks, she has her programs at the library. They're going to do a really big thing coming up. I'm trying to remember the name, but the bookstore is also partnering with them where we have their reading event for essentially anybody to come, but it's really close to us. And they have all types of authors come out and share. So we love that they go beyond what we can do because, once they're at the building, I can only do so much, but now
Mhm.
they go beyond that on the weekends and stuff. So I love having both of them.
So I have another question from something you mentioned to Jan and I previously, and that is I believe you said that your principal noticed that there was an increase in the number of boys reading. How do you think you've influenced that?
It's being educators, we don't brag on ourselves. We don't, we just don't do that. And we don't sometimes don't notice all the good things that we've done. And I'm still that way. So to hear from them last year, they were just like, "Hey, like we've noticed boys having books in the cafeteria." And it's not just our boys, but we see that boys, they are not reading, especially past elementary as much, and
Mhm.
especially our students of color. So to hear that and to see that they want to come in the library, they're always like, "Are you doing open library lunch today? We want to come in." And sometimes I can't, but I'm like, they just make me want to do it so
Oh,
bad, especially our fifth graders. They come and they love reading, and I love that for them because once they leave me, I'm hoping that they take a piece of, let me always know that the library is there for us.
that's
That's what I'm
amazing.
always hoping they take away.
Yeah, we don't like to boast, but Nick, the power of you modeling has me thinking I not that my children's librarians weren't great, but I would have loved for my boys to have had you as a librarian, because I do think there is a stronger impact when they see someone like them
Yeah.
doing what you do. So
Absolutely.
take that
Wow.
compliment from your principal.
Yes, absolutely. You deserve it. So, as we wrap up, remind everyone how they can follow you.
So you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Learn Teach More. So I'm very excited about that name. That was like 5 years, 6 years ago or so. But you can follow me on there. You can message. You can look at all the pictures. I try to share everything that we do. They know at my school, if I have a camera, I'm taking it for a reason.
Nick's last name is Moore, so that Learn Teach More, the Moore is Moore.
You got it.
And thank you. So, Nick, thank you for joining us today. Number one, you represent our profession with positivity, but also with passion. Thank you.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me. I'm so excited just to share the good things that we do and what others can take. We always learn from each other. So that's what I love about it. And especially even on social media, I'm like, we have to do that. I love that. Or I just love that people are doing those things.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We've exchanged ideas. It's time for our recap. And Julie, before we get far into the recap, I want to talk about something that I now call the Nick Moore effect after interviewing him.
Oh, I want to
Yeah.
hear.
So, we heard how his principal saw an increase in the number of boys reading, especially in the cafeteria. The students are also begging him for open library lunches. And I just thought for these students, having Mr. Moore as their librarian provides a mirror, because he's made reading, research, and creating visible to students, especially the boys. And
Yes.
he just isn't telling them to read or to be curious or to be creative. He's showing them.
He sure is. That's
Mhm.
amazing. And I'm also pretty sure after talking with him, we have both added a phrase to our library leader toolkit. I love a
Yes.
good toolkit, tips and
Yes.
tricks, with Nick's philosophy of students being content producers, not just content consumers. Um,
Love that
Me
phrase.
too. So I'm going to be saying that all the time. It's really important for them to understand what they see, but also to create and show that they are learning.
Yes.
I really also like how Nick emphasizes the thinking process. Having the students compare the organelles in a cell to the characters in Toy Story and using Tinkercad to create the 3D model of the cell, that really is taking that traditional draw the parts of the cell or use the foam ball to create the cell to the next level. I'm sure parents are much happier with that too. I think I spent back in the day at least $50 at the hobby shop for each of my daughter's middle school cell projects.
You must have had great ones, because if anyone remembers Kmart, we went to Kmart and bought styrofoam balls and used toothpicks. We had to cut like a little wedge. There's nothing wrong with that, but how about to even hit ELA standards? They use characters from Toy Story as metaphors for different parts of the cell. For
Yes.
example, is Woody the nucleus because he's the leader, or is Ham the piggy bank because he's bossy? And Julie, the main thing I can recall from biology is mighty, mighty mitochondria. They're the powerhouse of the cell. They convert food into energy. That's embarrassing if you're watching YouTube. Anyway, he also shared ways that he made the research feel personal and tangible for students with the body biographies. And besides famous people, he's used this for characters in a novel, and that young students are using PebbleGo to fill the body with information about the head, the heart, etc. But even more than that, to help the first graders, he used virtual reality to let them sit on a city bus, because most of his students have only seen a school bus. This experience made the history real before they searched in PebbleGo, Britannica, or Gale in context.
I agree. It was such a creative spin on that traditional biographies project.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure kids probably love getting their bodies traced on butcher paper and then the analogies for each part of the body and what the person believed in, worked for, and symbolized. That was really great too.
Mm-hmm.
And like you mentioned, the VR headset, a nice technology integration that allows students to experience what the historical figures are actually experiencing. You could use it for anything, just like you had mentioned, the monthly themes or historical figures, novel studies, any of those things.
Yeah. So let's shift the focus to talk about how Nick loves to share his love of reading at his school. And his advice for building a reading culture is don't be afraid to ask for some of those prizes from movie theaters, bowling alleys, and skating rinks, to use as a reward because Starbucks even donated coffee and cake pops for the teachers to celebrate their Beanstack challenge. And he stays closely connected to the Bookworm bookstore and the local public library because he sees that these are extensions of his library that keep kids reading.
Nick is just such a wonderful role model for being a lifelong reader for the students at his school, but especially the boys.
Hmm.
And colleagues, including his principal, recognize how Nick has influenced the reading culture at his school. It's just really wonderful the influence he's made. Thank goodness for librarians out there like Nick who truly
Yes.
provide quality learning experiences and work diligently to create a culture of reading.
Yeah. And it's only his second year.
Amazing.
Goodness. We could go on, but our time is running out. Where can you find Nick? Follow him and see his innovative projects on Instagram at Learn Teach More, more with 2 O's. And if you're listening to this on February 23rd, it's Julie's birthday.
Yay! Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday, Julie. Thanks for joining us today.
Make sure to visit our website at www.libraryexchangepodcast.com.
You'll find episode notes and links. You can even submit your questions or inspiring stories that may be featured on the podcast.
If you're looking for some swag for your library or book-loving friends, visit libraryexchange.etsy.com.
That's a lot of URLs, so I'm glad you had to say all of that, Julie.
Thanks for joining us. We can't wait to have you back for our next episode of Library Exchange.